Thanks, Scott. I'll start with my story, and it starts with my child. He is now 18. He used to be really cute and cuddly. Now he's got muscles and he, has hair all over him and things like that. But I wanted the best for him, which meant finding the best schools, finding the best learning environments, the best, most rigor, etc. Grades and homework were really, really important to me, including, I'm embarrassed to say, including in kindergarten. And I realized looking back that I was really pushing down on his curiosity to make room for more and more school. And I was so certain that this was the script. And the script was grades, homework, and compliance, right? Grades, homework, and compliance. But I began to interact with some other parents who were doing things differently. And this was some years ago. And I actually saw this from the university level. 17 years ago, I was invited to serve on a selective public university board. And I began to see how routine, how common the script was I was playing. The grades, compliance, test scores, all these things. These were what all the kids had that were coming to university. High grades, very compliant, good test scores, and they volunteered at the Children's Hospital because that's how you prove that you care about other people, apparently. But then there were these other applicants, and they were discussed in the admissions office. They were discussed at the board level, and these were kids who were authentically curious. They were passionate learners, and they were self-driven. And you could tell this because they had these amazing portfolios, experiences. They built products and services without anybody telling them to do it. They were self-directed. And when they applied to college, here's another interesting dynamic. They would often apply to a college not because the college had a great name, but because there was a faculty member that they wanted to study with at that university, right? Now, those are the kids that catch the attention of admissions officers. And we've been talking to quite a few admissions officers about this idea of self-directed learning. And we're hearing consistently that the script that I was playing, it's tired. And there's kids from all over the world now that are playing that script. And frankly, most of them are a lot hungrier than we are. So these families that were following a different script, they slowly began to build independence in their child. It wasn't with threats or with incentives. It was with coaching and negotiation. And these parents were teaching kids how to solve their own problems along their educational pathway. And again, this is what universities were actually looking for. So some years ago, I began to flip the script and began to focus on building learning independence. And it turns out, if you fast forward, that building learning independence and flipping the script produces not just curious learners, but also produces great students. More importantly, it produces really good humans, people of character, people who are problem solvers, people who read because they're curious, people who are excellent communicators because they're always asking questions, right? That is what I wanted for my kids, and as I flipped the script, it started to show up. Now, this is not all rosy, right? This was a hard slog. But my son is a valedictorian in his high school. My daughter, after being a straight A student at local magnet high school, decided she wasn't learning fast enough. She wasn't learning the stuff that she wanted to learn, wasn't learning deeply enough. And so she built her educational pathway starting at 15. And so as I wind this part of my background down, there's two pieces that I want you to remember. The first is that schools think that learning hinges on what they do. We don't believe that. We believe that learning hinges on what you do as the parent. And then the second part about this really is that our society is shifting, y'all. And COVID has turbocharged it, right? Students who are waiting to be taught are going to be left behind now. The future is going to look nothing like what we imagined it to look. But the thing that we do know is that learners are going to be okay. Because there's so much change happening. If you are an independent learner, you are going to be okay. So my script shifted from my highest aspiration, kind of wanting grades and homework and compliance, to really those pillars that Scott talked about, the idea of reading, communication, problem solving, and character being the key pieces that I wanted my kids to be strong in. And my kids are strong there. Not perfect by any stretch, but they're strong and they're a little weird. But I want you to know that normal in education in the United States is broken. And so if normal's broken, then I kind of want weird.